Hi friends, welcome back to Tucked In Tuesday. I hope you've all had a really good week and I hope you're ready for a really fun story. Tonight we're going to read Bear Came Along, and the author of this story is Richard Morris. All right, you ready? Here we go. Once there was a river that flowed night and day, but it didn't know it was a river until Bear came along. Bear was just being curious. When he realized what the river could do. But he didn't know he was on an adventure until Froggy hopped on. Froggy was a lonely frog who was looking for a friend, but she didn't know how many she had. Until the turtles showed up. The turtles tried to warn them about the things that could go wrong, but they didn't know how to enjoy the ride. Until Beaver climbed aboard. Beaver was born to captain. He knew exactly where to go, but he didn't know about the detours until the raccoons dropped in. The raccoons were so excited about the twists and turns ahead, but they didn't know they had to be careful. Until they crashed into Duck. Duck was so content being right where she was, but she didn't know there was a world to see. Until, oh my gosh, look at this picture. I wonder where they're headed. Oh, look at their faces. Oh my gosh, look at this picture. You see the friends there, right there? Bear held on to Froggy, Froggy held on to the turtles held on to Beaver, Beaver held on to raccoons, raccoons held on to Duck. You see that picture all right? Oh, what a ride! So many different animals living their separate lives, but they didn't know they were in it together until the river came along. The end. I like that story, did you? I really like the illustrations. And I want to go back to this one page. They all kind of look a little excited, maybe a little nervous to go down that waterfall. How would you feel about that? I think I'd be pretty nervous. All right, here we go. Now we're going to move on to our chapter book that we started reading last week. Pirates Don't Wear Pink Sunglasses with our Bailey School kids. So let's find out what happens as they continue to work with Captain Teach. Do you think he's a real pirate? We're going to have to find out. All right, chapter 4 is called Treasure. You scallywags look to be getting the hang of it now, I see, Captain Teach bellowed from the dock. Tomorrow you'll be ready for a real workout. But we are working, Liza said. The entire 3rd grade practiced rowing all afternoon under Captain Teach's strict command. Eddie started off by splashing the kids with his oar. But one buckle down, mate, from Captain Teach stopped Eddie's mischief. Watch out, Liza screamed, just as the 4 friends were getting the hang of rowing. A speedboat zipped past, leaving huge waves in its wake. Eddie and Melody frantically turned the boat away from the rushing water while the waves crashed against their tiny boat. Howie dropped his oar and Liza screamed. Hardy, har, har, Teach roared from the dock. I see you landlubbers know nothing about the water. If you see ripples coming at you, face them head on. That way the waves will rock you like a baby in a cradle. After that, no one goofed off and everyone improved. The next time the boat sped past, they rode out the waves like experts. "We're getting pretty good at this," Eddie bragged. Captain Teach threw his head back and laughed. "You city slickers are barely moving the boat. You have a long way to go before you'll beat those Sheldon rogues." "Sheldon rogues! Sheldon rogues!" Long-tongued Jack screeched from Teach's shoulder. He flapped his wings when Captain Teach hopped onto a boat. Teach showed Howie how to tie the boat to the dock with a tight hitching knot. Then he grinned at the campers. "You rascals need to eat. You'll need to muster all your strength for tomorrow's workout," he said. So eat hearty, mates." "All right, I'm starving," Liza cheered. Captain Teach waited until the last boater was safely on the dock before he stomped off towards the cabins. The other boaters ran ahead with Coach Ellison, but Liza was too tired to keep up. Melody, Howie, and Eddie slowed down to walk with her. "Oh, my arms are killing me," Liza said as the kids followed a good distance behind Captain Teach. Melody nodded her head. "I've never worked so hard in my whole life." "That Teach is a real battle axe," Eddie agreed, looking up the trail at Teach's huge back. "But he might just make winners out of us." "You mean like him?" Howie asked, rubbing his sore arms. Eddie shrugged. "I wouldn't exactly say, you mean you like him?" Howie asked, rubbing his sore arms. Eddie shrugged. "I wouldn't say I like him exactly, but I do like to win. Captain Teach sure seems to know a thing about rowing. If we keep this up, those Sheldon sharks won't stand a chance. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad Nature Week is at Camp Lone Wolf." "You better enjoy it here while you can," Liza told him. "Carrie told us that the camp is probably going to close." "What are you talking about?" Howie asked. Melody explained. "The camp is losing money. If Mr. Jenkins can't make this month's payment, the bank is going to turn it into a huge mall." Liza looked at the tree-lined trail and sighed. "I still think it would be a shame to tear down these huge old trees. I bet some of them were here when Molly the Red terrorized the first Bailey city." That's what Camp Lone Wolf needs," Howie told them. "Molly the Red's treasure." "You're right," Melody agreed. "Captain Teach said it was never found." "Maybe we could find it," Liza squealed. Eddie shook his head. "If it hasn't been found in over 200 years, there's no way we could find it. We'd better concentrate on beating the Sheldon sharks." "I guess you're right," Liza said. "Still, it would be nice to save those big trees." Eddie bent down to pick up a small green case that was in the middle of the trail. "I think Teach dropped this," he said. "It's his sunglasses case," Liza said. "We can give it to him in the dining hall." "It's empty except for a piece of paper," Eddie told his friends as he unsnapped the case. "That's none of your business," Liza told him and tried to jerk the case away. "Liza's right," Howie agreed. "A little peek won't hurt anything," Eddie muttered. "Besides, we don't even know for sure it's Teach's. I'll see if there's a name inside." Eddie pulled a yellow piece of paper from the back of the case and carefully unfolded it. Strange lines covered the small paper, and wispy handwriting filled one corner. "There's a note on it," Eddie said. Melody snatched the paper from Eddie. "Reading other people's mail is against the law," Eddie shrugged. "It's just an old map anyway." "Why would Teach be keeping an old map in his sunglasses case?" Liza asked. "He probably uses it to plan our rowing training," Howie suggested. "Maybe we should keep it so he won't be able to plan any more killer workouts," Melody said as she folded the map and stuffed it back in the case. "That wouldn't be honest," Liza told them. "We'll give it to him at dinner." When they finally reached the dining hall, Coach Ellison was helping Mr. Jenkins grill hamburgers and hot dogs, but Captain Teach was nowhere in sight. Chapter 5 is called Blackbeard. "We have to give his sunglasses case to him," Liza told her friends. "He might be worried about it." The kids had swallowed down their entire supper of hot dogs, hamburgers, french fries, baked beans, and ice cream, and still there was no sign of Captain Teach in the dining hall. "We have plenty of time before the campfire," Melody said. Eddie frowned and licked the last bit of ice cream off of his fingers. "We don't know where Teach is staying." "Teach is in that small cabin close to the boat dock," Carrie said as she walked past their table to put food on her tray. "I saw him going there after he practically killed us this afternoon." "It's settled then," Liza said, gathering up her tray. "We'll go right now." "I don't know how I ever got mixed up with a bunch of turkeys like you guys," Eddie complained as they walked down the path to the lake. "There's the cabin," Howie said. "I never even noticed it before." Howie pointed through the trees at a small cabin set back from the path. The gray wooden cabin had a tiny porch with a flag hanging from it. "That's a weird flag," Melody said as they walked onto Captain Teach's porch. The flag was black with white skull painted on it, and crossbones were underneath the skull. "That's Jolly Roger," Howie told them. "Teach must like to study about pirates." "How do you know that's a pirate flag?" Eddie asked. "For all you know, it could be the flag of Brazil. Maybe Teach is from Brazil." "If you'd read a book once in a while, you'd learn something," Howie said as he knocked on the door. "He's not here," Eddie said. "Are you happy now? We walked all the way down here for nothing." "Try one more time," Liza suggested. Howie knocked on the door again. This time his pounding caused the door to slowly creak open. Howie peeked inside the cabin. He looked back at his friends and gulped. Captain Teach isn't here, but you'll never believe what is. Eddie pushed past Howie and into the cabin. Wow, this is neat, Eddie shouted. The walls of the cabin were covered with swords, old guns, and yellow maps. A large bird perch stood near the window, and a bookcase was crammed full of model ships and glass bottles. I've always wanted one of these, Eddie said, picking up a huge ship in a bottle labeled Queen Anne's Revenge. You'd better put that down before you break it, Liza said. We can just leave the case on the porch. I don't think we'd better leave anything, Howie told them. I have a strange feeling about all this. What are you talking about, Melody asked. Let me see that map again, Howie asked Melody. She shrugged and handed over the green case. Howie carefully unfolded the map and held it up by the window to read its strange handwriting. You shouldn't read that, Liza reminded him. Howie looked at Liza and spoke very seriously. This may be a matter of life and death. Besides, this isn't a letter. It's just a note scribbled on a map. I guess it's okay. Can you read what it says, Liza said. Howie carefully smoothed out the old crinkled paper and tried to make out the words. He read, My dearest Blackbeard, I am doomed. I leave you my treasure and my love. Liza squinted to read the strange handwriting. Do you think it's from Molly? Molly the Red, Melody asked. Howie nodded his head. And I bet this is a map telling Blackbeard where her treasure is buried. You're crazy, Eddie said, grabbing the map back. What would Teach be doing with a pirate map? In the same book that had the pirate's flag, there's also a section about Blackbeard, Howie told them. That makes sense, Melody said. She touched a huge sword that hung from the wall. After all, Blackbeard was the most famous pirate who ever lived. And also the meanest, Eddie agreed. Howie pointed to the ship in the bottle that Eddie had held up. That was his ship. Read the name on the bottom of the label. Eddie held the bottle up and read the label in the fading light. Queen Anne's Revenge, Ship of Blackbeard, Captain Edward Teach, killed 1718. Captain Teach? Melody squealed. So what? Eddie put the bottle back on the shelf. You said yourself, Teach likes to study about pirates. Captain Teach is probably his nickname. Howie shook his head. I don't think Teach likes to just study about pirates. I think he is a pirate. Eddie laughed out loud. Pirates lived a long time ago. There aren't any left today. Besides, who ever heard of a pirate wearing pink sunglasses, Melody said. I don't know, Liza said. Let's just leave the case and go. We can't, Howie shook his head. We know too much. If this is a treasure map and Teach really is a pirate, we may be in a lot of danger. Danger, danger, squawk! The four kids jumped at a loud screech. There, perched on the windowsill, was Long-Tongued Jack. That is where we are going to stop for this week. Can't wait to find out if Captain Teach is a real pirate or not. What do you think? All right, boys and girls, you know the drill. I hope your jammies are on. I hope your teeth are brushed, and I hope you are tucked in tight. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.